Cowboy fans, it's week 9. Dak Prescott's back. We're all excited. Before I get too far into it though, Cooper Rush, thank you very much for that game against the Vikings, man. You came out and you balled out. Your family gave us the moment of the century. That was amazing. I'm so happy for your father. I'm a father myself, and I have a son myself. So I can only imagine how that felt for him, and your mother as well, and your wife, man. That was an amazing moment. I'll never forget that. So congratulations, Cooper Rush. I tell you what, if you ever have to come in again, I know everybody's going to be feeling good about it. I told people I had a good feeling. I told people I had a little bit of faith before the game, but I don't want to get too far into the Vikings game. Let's move on. Let's talk about these Denver Broncos, because like I said, Dak Prescott's back on the center, but there's still a lot of other things to discuss. So Dak's going to be missing a key member of the offensive line this week. Aaron Smith's out with an ankle injury. But the truth of the matter is, if there's any week you want to be without your left tackle, it's this week against the Broncos. Because Von Miller, that generational pass rusher, actually just packed his bags and left for LA, so we won't be seeing him. Bradley Chubb's been on the gurney for a few weeks now. He's on injured reserve, so we won't see him. So there isn't much pass rush on the edge. I'm not saying that the Broncos have no pass rush, but if Von Miller's not around, Bradley Chubb's not around, so now what's going to happen with Tyron Smith out? Who's going to take his place? The low-key MVP. That's who. My man Terrence Steele held it down on the right side while La'el Collins was out. La'el Collins is back. He's no longer bribing people to hide his dirty piss, or at least he's paying them enough money to actually do it for him. We got La'el Collins back. He's going to man the right side. My man Terrence Steele's going to take the left side, and I have faith in Terrence Steele. He held it down, like I said, while La'el was gone, and I have faith in the Cowboys coaching staff. If they think this is the best move, hey, they got us here to this great record so far. They got us off to this great start. We got to start giving them a little bit of a pass and say, yo, y'all got this. We trust you. So, hey, y'all got this. We trust you. Interesting note about this game before we dive into it. Patrick Surtain II. Cowboy fans were pissed off when the Broncos selected him 9th overall because the Panthers had just taken J.C. Horn 8th overall. And every Cowboy fan in the world wanted to have one of those two paired up with Treyvon Diggs. No Fly Zone 2.0, and that would have been fun. But I'm gonna tell you what, I wanted Micah from the jump, and I got receipts. Check it out. I always knew Micah was gonna be amazing. He took a year off from college football, and I think a lot of people forgot about him because of it. But if you go back and you watch that tape, as I did, he reminds you real quick that he's an amazing talent. He was the best defensive player in the draft, and he's the best anyway. Now that I sufficiently tooted my own horn, get this: Broncos fans were also pissed off at the pick. And I know that probably doesn't make sense. You're probably wondering why. But guess what? Have you seen their quarterback? If you're picking top 10 in the draft in April, there's no way Teddy Bridgewater is your starting quarterback come September. Right? No, not a chance. Unless maybe the rookie that you drafted is still sitting on the bench like Trey Lance and you're not ready for him to get in the game yet. Maybe that's it, right? No. So you didn't take a quarterback in the top 10? You're rolling with Teddy Bridgewater? Yeah. No offense, Patrick Surtain, because I think you're bowling out. I think you're amazing. But I don't want Teddy Bridgewater as my quarterback. If I have a top 10 pick, I'm going to the fences with a quarterback, and that's it. And here's the thing, though. As bad a call as that was, and that's no knock on Surtain. Again, he's been great. But a franchise signal caller is more important than every single other position on the field. By far, bar none, period. But as bad a call as that was, Bronco fans will tell you that Pat Shurmur's play calls every Sunday are just as bad. And I watched enough film to say I can agree. It's very head scratching. Now, I'm not going to go ahead and take this opportunity to mention a former Dallas Cowboys head coach / offensive coordinator who also had some deficiencies in play calling, because that's low hanging fruit. That's just too easy, and I'm not that low. Tell you what, weeks 1 to 3, here's the thing. People were all over the Broncos, claiming them to be the best defense in the league. They were one of the best teams. They're one of the only undefeated teams. Blah, blah, blah. Everybody was going wild on this Bronco talk. And I just sat back. And I said, are y'all for real? It didn't make any sense to me. I never put a whole lot into the Broncos being one of the best teams. I respect their record. You got to beat who's in front of you. But I'm not going to start talking to you. Start playing somebody that makes some difference. They played the 3 worst teams in the NFL. You play those two I'm sorry, wait a minute. They played 3 of the worst teams in all of football. Because you probably got a couple teams in Canada that could beat these guys, man. Those 2 teams from New Jersey pretending to be from New York. And then the Jags. Now every fan know what Jag mean. Just another guy. It's a team full of Jags. No offense, Trevor Lawrence and crew. I'm sure y'all will get it together eventually. But right now, y'all are cellar dwellers. And you're hanging out down there with those 2 teams from New Jersey. Now, they've gone 1-3 since. This is the Broncos. They've gone 1-3 since. So they've stumbled to a 4-4 record. And the one victory was one where they narrowly escaped the jaws of defeat against what juggernaut team? The Washington football team? I'm sorry, man. I'm not impressed. Furthermore, the other teams that they played, Pittsburgh and Miami, their offenses suck as well. If you look at the overall rankings, Cleveland is probably just above suck level. So who have they played? I mean, Baltimore's a good offense, but for the most part, they play 2 teams that can actually find the end zone. So I'm not impressed by the defensive records. I'm not impressed by the stats. I will say I am impressed by what I see in film from Vic Fangio. He does a good job trying to confuse quarterbacks and trying to confuse offensive coordinators. He'll come out in a 2 high safety and rotate down to a single high safety quite often. But I have faith in Kellen Moore. Kellen Moore has shown us that he actually intentionally does things to uncover what it is a defense is doing. He's going to come out here in the overload 3x1s. He's going to come out in the empty 4x1s. He's going to play wing sets where you got nobody on one side of the field other than 2 tight ends on the line of scrimmage. He's going to use pre-snap shifts and motions. I'm telling y'all, watch, he does it in order to make the defense show their hand. When Vic Fangio's out here disguising his coverages and things, it might make us hold up and take a minute just to figure it out for the first drive or 2, but Kellen Moore's going to diagnose that quick, and then we're going to dissect it. I promise you. Watch when it happens. Now, one thing that I noticed, I went back and watched the Jets film when they played against the Broncos, and the Broncos slapped them up. I mean, it was 26-0. Fine, good, well done. That's who you're supposed to beat. You beat them. But one thing I noticed is that they actually stayed in nickel a lot, and the reason I watched the Jets game is because the Jets use a lot of 2 tight end formations like the Cowboys. But they actually stayed in nickel defense a lot versus those formations, and I was shocked to see it. Now, they have great safeties, and they actually rely on one of those safeties to come down in the box and make those tackles in the run game. So I get it. You want to be stout against the pass, and a lot of times on first down, they're going to stay in those 2 high looks, and they're going to defend against the pass first. So I don't think that the nickel defenses that they like to stay in versus the 12 personnel, or the 2 high safeties that they like to use in the early downs, is going to be a part of the game plan against the Cowboys. If either of those are part of the game plan against the Cowboys, you can kiss this game goodbye, far and away, Bronco fans. I promise you. Nickel defenses, go watch the Carolina Panther game. They tried that against the Cowboys. We will go for over 200 yards on my life if y'all try to defend those 12 personnel packages with these 125-pound cornerbacks. It ain't going to work. But we got maulers on the offensive line. Zeke and Pollard ready to feast. Not eat. They ain't eating no more. They're ready to feast. One interesting note about our 12 personnel sets now is that we're going to be missing Blake Jarwin. And the truth of the matter is, on just about any team, the second tight end is going to be the least important person in your 12 personnel, as long as you got somebody serviceable. No offense to Blake Jarwin, but we can replace him with Sean McEwen, Jeremy Sprinkle, little mixture of the 2, and we'll keep it moving. There's no doubt about that. Jarwin's not going to be missed, so I would anticipate seeing a heavy dose of the Cowboys wing sets early in the game, especially on early downs, and if the Broncos stay in them nickel sets, you're going to see it as often as possible. Now, I'm going to tell you something right here. The Broncos offense, man, I'm confused about something. And it's more about the reaction, local, national, call it what you want to call it, the reaction to their offense. There's so many people out here making excuses for their offense, saying that their offense ain't as bad as it is, the offense is better than it looks, and it ain't true. I don't understand how we can have that conversation in week 9. If it was week 2 or week 3, okay, fine. But you show me week after week after week that you can't put points on the board. Don't tell me it ain't who you are. It's who you are until you ain't, right? So what I will tell you is this. There are clearly reasons the offense sucks the way it does, but it does suck. So they have an offense. They have 2 receivers who are averaging 14 yards a catch. You got 2 running backs who are averaging over 4 yards a carry. You got a tight end who is second on the team in catches. So they definitely have the weapons. They definitely have the potential. And it isn't dink and dunk. Like I said, you got 2 guys averaging over 14 yards a catch. So what is the problem? I tell you, when I watch the film, the problem, as Bronco fans will tell you, one, Pat Shermer's play calling really is as bad as the Bronco fans say it is. When you watch the film, there are times that he does things that just baffle the mind. I don't understand what it is he's seeing out there on the field. Mike Zimmer last week was very bad. Again, I don't want to get caught up on the Viking game. I don't want to get caught up in any other game. We'll focus on the Broncos. But there are some bad play callers in the NFL, and Pat Shermer's absolutely one of them. One of the other issues, and I actually watched an interesting video where Kurt Warner was discussing this. I'll put a link down below to Kurt Warner's channel if anybody's interested, because he does a great job of his breakdowns. But one of the things he was pointing out, and then I started to notice on film, is that Teddy Bridgewater really doesn't do a great job processing at all. Like, he can't go through his reads. He's making reads late. So where he should be throwing the ball, and y'all know how it is with timing in football, he's throwing balls half a second late, a second, 2 seconds late, because he's making one read before the other. Because a lot of times you want to make your read based on pre-snap, you know, where you're going to read first. So pre-snap, he's not seeing things he should be seeing. So he's reading something that, had he seen different cues pre-snap, he probably wouldn't even be there first. And then by the time he makes the read he's supposed to, he's throwing interceptions. So I mean, when you watch it, there are things that Teddy's doing that you would expect out of a rookie quarterback, the quarterback they could have got with the 9th overall pick. But I'm just saying. And here's the interesting thing about their offense. They actually, in terms of time of possession per drive, are like top 5 in the league. I'm talking about these guys hold the ball for a straight 3 minutes a drive. So they're moving the ball. And like I said, it's not dink and dunk. You're talking about 14 yards to catch out here. So everything seems to be rolling until they get an opportunity to get into scoring position, and then the wheels just fall off. So don't tell me their offense is better than it is until I see their offense be better than they are. One quick final word. Most important note of the day. If you've seen any of my Madden videos, you already know that I love the 1976 Cowboys throwbacks where they rock the helmet with the red stripe. And the Cowboys are wearing that this week as a salute to service. So I think we got to go out here and get a big dub. We're going to put it on them about 34-23. I see no reason to think that this team is going to be within a single score of this Cowboys offense. I think we are that much better than them. It should be a 2-score game. Check back with me after the game. If I was wrong, feel free to come here and troll me as much as you want. If I was right, I won't do the same. I'm just going to prepare for the next week. Y'all be safe out there.